What up, Razzballers? We got a fun one for you this evening. We got our bus, breakouts, and sleepers. One of the most fun episodes we do all season long right here on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We got the full squad. We got the Quint box. We're ready for some fun names, some deep dives right now on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. What's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. You can find all of our content at football.razzball.com. All of our amazing writers, all of our amazing tools available for you for free right now at football.razzball.com. Updates on the rankings have happened today. We got some of the tools getting fine-tuned for the season as well. Go check all of that out, gearing up for some of the biggest draft weekends of the entire season. I'm your host, Sky Guasco, this evening, joined by Matty Stiles, Jefferson Keysar. We got Davey Cruz and Derek Favret in the place as well. All things Razzball on RazzballNFL on the Xbox. You can find us right here on YouTube as well. Make sure you hit that box and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content all season long. Also, we haven't talked much about it, but it is right around the corner. My favorite part of doing this entire program is Sunday Live. 2 hours before kickoff, we have a blast coming on here. You ask your start-sit questions. We answer them. We get hundreds of them. It's a blast. 2 hours before kickoff, whatever your local time is. Come and check us out. Sunday Lives, once week one starts. It's a blast right here on YouTube. You can also find us on the go as well during the podcast episodes at the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. One more announcement before I get the boys in the place here to break down our sleepers, breakouts, and busts. We have our Razzball Guillotine League for the listeners is totally full. That league is totally full. So the G League is done. All of you, we have the draft coming up this weekend. We'll have an announcement coming up in that chat on Sleeper coming up this evening or tomorrow. So make sure you stand by for that to make sure we're all in the same place at the same time. We do have 3 available spots for you in the Listener League. 2 or 3 available spots available for you in the PPR Listener League. If you're interested in joining us for that, please mark in the comment section right now during this program, and we'll log you down and we'll be in touch. The only rule is you can't already be in the G League. If you're in the Guillotine League, we appreciate that, but we can't have you doubling up. We want to make sure that we share the love. So if you're in the G League, stand by. If you'd like to be in the Listener League and you're not already for the PPR League, make sure you hit us up in the comment section, and we'll get you in for the league. All right, Maddie, Jeff, Davey, and Derek, we got a real fun one. Last week we did our bowl predictions and crazy calls. That's also my favorite episode we do all season. This one is awesome. This one's where you get to kind of like stand on your stones a little bit. You get to plant your flags, and we have a lot of fun with these ones. So I'll get right into it without any further ado. Let's go with our breakouts first. We got our breakouts, our sleepers, and our busts. We have our breakouts first. Our rules for breakouts are these players based on current ADP, average draft position. These players are going to outpace their ADP by 2 rounds or more. So wherever this player is being drafted, a breakout would mean that they're going to supplant that by the end of the season by 2 rounds or more. That's our breakout section. Matt, we're going to start with you. Who you got?
It's easy for the show. It's easy like Sunday morning. Without a doubt, Ricky Pearsall will outdo. Will break out probably 3 rounds ahead of his ADP, not 2. I have 2 other names. We have gone over all 3 of them on the show. This seems like a no-brainer to me, and I think by the end of the weekend, his ADP is going to rise as well. So, give me Ricky Pearsall, and by the way, you guys can get in line behind me. There's no doubt that at least one of you has that same name.
Love it. Ricky P shout out, man. We already did that for the breakout and crazy calls. So you all know I love Ricky P as well. Anybody vehemently against it? Looks like Ricky Pearsall is a guy in San Francisco right now. Nope. We're in. Love it. Let's move on here. Easy peasy. Breakout number 1, Ricky Pearsall, 3 rounds ahead of the ADP. Give it to me. All right, Jeff, who you got?
I got Ted McMillan from Carolina. He is currently receiver 28 as the 60th overall pick per Fantasy Pros. And I just love that he has a high draft capital in Carolina. He has no real target competition. We're kind of looking into the numbers a little bit. Deontay Johnson had 3 weeks out of 7 before he got traded. He was the top 12 receiver as the number 1 target for Bryce. And then kind of when Bryce kind of took his game to the next level from weeks 12 through 18, his top receiver was a handful of guys, but that top guy scored in double digits 6 to 7 games, averaging nearly 15 points a game. If that was just for one player, that would have been receiver number 4. So I think Tet is that guy. And also Carolina has the 11th easiest schedule for receivers. So I do think Tet will be a second-round pick next year.
I like it. Maddie had him getting surpassed by some other guys the other night for the bowl predictions. So that'll be interesting. We need somebody to step up as that clear number 1 out there in Carolina. Maybe it'll be Teroa McMillan. I like that a lot. Any objections? Nope. Couple shrugs. I dig it. Fair enough. Okay. All right, David Cruz, you're on the clock. First breakout.
Okay, my breakout is going to be Zach Charbonnet, running back in Seattle. Currently on Fantasy Pros, he's running back 33. On Football Guys, when I first wrote this down yesterday, he was running back 30. I went and checked again, and he's already up to number 29. In the Razzball draft I did, he went in the 10th round, running back 35. Last year, he was running back 25 in PPR. He actually outscored Kenneth Walker in PPR. Kenneth Walker was number 27. He had fewer touches than Walker. He had more yards, and he had 1 more touchdown. In last year, in 177 touches, he had 900 yards and 9 touchdowns, 8 rushing, 1 receiving. Both those guys are dual threats. They're equally good at running the ball and catching the ball, and I think that's going to work out real well in Clint Kubiak's offense in Seattle. He's the new offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. When Walker was out in this time, in 4 out of the 5 games that Charbonnet started, he was running back 8, running back 7, running back 1 overall, and running back 17 in a game they got absolutely annihilated by the Packers, which helped knock them out of the playoffs. In that game where he was running back 17, he only got 9 touches. He still scored a touchdown. So my guy this year is Zach Charbonnet, a guy that probably could start on at least half the other teams in the league.
I like it a lot. I've been talking about it quite a bit for Charbonnet. And Derek, I wouldn't do this unless I had to. But give me a thumbs up if your guy is Zach Charbonnet. It's not. Great. So
I do love him though. I do.
I'm gonna leapfrog you then. We had some of this go on last week. Some of us took our chances. I took my chances and failed with the breakouts and all of our crazy calls and bowl predictions last week. We had a couple double ups, Dak Prescott mainly, some Falcons, Ricky P. This week we're going to double up, Dave, on a breakout for Zach Charbonnet. I've been waiting for this one for a while. I like Kenneth Walker a lot. I loved him coming out of Michigan State and coming out of college. But unfortunately, with the injuries and everything racking up, Zach Charbonnet has gotten an opportunity and done very well with it. Dave, you basically covered my case as well, so I'll keep it short. In those games that he played, he averaged 18.3 touches, so 18 touches a game for averaging 100 total yards, right? So you're getting basically an RB2 with RB1 upside if Kenneth Walker misses again for significant time. Right now in about the 8th or 10th round, depending on your league settings. Kenneth Walker injury prone, and Zach Charbonnet looked real nice early kicking off that game against Kansas City the other night in preseason. So, Dave, I'm with you. I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet also boat racing his ADP by more than 2 rounds, but for the sake of the exercise, he is my breakout as well. Derek, who you got?
All right. Well, to end the breakouts, mine is a wide receiver. He's currently wide receiver number 29, going in the 6th round. Probably it was a breakout last year Difference is, though, this year he's on a team with a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. My breakout is George Pickens. So we already established last week that a healthy Dak is a top 5 quarterback. So that's automatically a leg up on last year when whose quarterback was who, Matt? Never Fields.
Never Fields. That's right.
So that's at least a 2-round, bump up right there. But he pairs with the other gentleman on the screen here, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to draw multiple coverage, which should free up Pickens to have a little more room. Dallas has a relatively poor defense, so they should be slinging it. So if we have a healthy Dak and they're playing from behind, they're going to be, it's not going to just be CeeDee Lamb. They've got another weapon there. So I like him a lot. In fact, when I kind of compare him to Brandon Cooks from about 2 years ago when he was on Dallas, the last Dak's healthy season, and in that capacity, they run the same number of routes in the wideout spot generally. Brandon Cook's ADOT was almost 13. He had over 80 targets and 8 touchdowns. So if you take that production and put it on Pickens this year, he's definitely worth more than a 6th-round pick. If you go 2 rounds from him, you're in the Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison area. He could clearly reach that in mind. So, yeah, George Pickens is going to be my breakout.
I like it. I like George Pickens a lot. I'll tell you what, man. When he came out of college, I was really hyped on him. And the whole narrative was he's a beast if he can just not be a knucklehead. And that remains true. Unfortunately, the Steelers have an incredible history of these guys, not just AB, Martavis Bryant, Juju, Plaxico Burress back in the day. Lots of these dudes in Pittsburgh. I don't know what it is, but hopefully we can get a fresh start with him, Pickens, and obviously learning from CeeDee Lamb. And if these guys both click, there's no chance that Dak isn't what you guys called last week, which is top 6, top 5. So I like it a lot. We got a lot of momentum for the Cowboys all of a sudden. And shout out to Jake Ferguson also getting a tight end boost there from Dave too. So we'll see what happens. And they don't have much of a run game. I like it a lot. Okay, we're going to get into our bus next. Matt, you'll be up in a second. Again, I just want to give another shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. We're an hour earlier than usual. So thank you guys for manipulating your schedules for myself and the people. And also just another heads up, if you'd like to join our listener league with all of us and some others in a PPR listener league, 12-team listener league with us and some other viewers, make sure you comment below. Let us know, and we'll be in touch and get that going. We do have drafts coming up this weekend. Okay, let's see here. I didn't see it quite. You guys want to pull that up and read it out? Go ahead, Matt. Read it for me.
I'll pull this up when we've got people that are tuned in. I just want to know if whoever's tuned in and wants one of the final 3 slots, they got to speak up now, and we'll get them all the information offline after the show.
Love it.
Slow draft this weekend on Sleeper. Draft against the best in the industry.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Jeff. and Jeff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if you don't go Ricky P by the 3rd round, he's not coming back to you. That's the only clue I'm going to give you guys. If Ricky P is not drafted in the top 3 rounds, he's not going to make it back to you. All right,
by the way, I didn't mention current ADP for Ricky Pearsall. I didn't mention. Everybody else mentioned 93. It's criminal.
Part of me like wants to stop talking about it because I've made my claim. You guys have too. We're excited, but now I feel like we should just shut it down and not keep talking about it to keep it down a little bit. We'll see what happens. We help the people enough, and let's get some drafts going. All right, Matty, why don't you give us your bust?
The bust, the one that I don't want to say is Cooper Kupp, so I'm going to leave him alone because I love Cooper Kupp, the player, Eastern Washington University. So I'm going to go with the guy that is clearly not going to hit his ADP. Jeff will smile because of articles he's written and running backs that he's charted, Joe Mixon will in no way, shape, or form match his ADP.
So is this is that a Nick Chubb text?
No, Jeff will tell you what text it is.
Marks.
That's a Woody Marks text.
Yep.
Nice.
Woody, and maybe some Chubb too, But yeah, definitely I like Woody Marks this year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Wally.
Yeah, Dario Gomwali.
Right now, Mixon's sitting at ADP. His ADP is 56. I just don't see how he's going to make up that ground. And by the way, the coaching staff is not even talking about his injury. It might be multiple, but for sure it's a foot is one of the injuries. I mean, he's just not even on the field. He's not doing anything. I don't even think he's pulling out a Najee Harris and walking the track during practice. I'm not even sure he's present unless he's in the back and doing some form of physical therapy. But I think that that in my mind probably moves CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, and Christian Kirk up my board and maybe even way at the end if you're in a deep league, Dalton Schultz. But I don't see Joe Mixon bringing the return this year.
Tricky team in Houston.
Conspiracy theory. Do you think that's why they brought in Chubb, knowing that Mixon had an injury already?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the latest out of the coaching staff in Houston about Nick Chubb, which I find even more concerning than the Joe Mixon not talking about it, is they said, we really like the player Nick Chubb. He really loves football.
Hey, man, you gotta have
what a quote.
You gotta have that dog in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't. That doesn't say a lot about what Nick Chubb's going to bring to the table. But I don't want my coach saying that I really like finance. I want them to say I'm the best finance nerd there is.
Well,
right.
Matt, would you be less concerned if they said Nick Chubb, man, hell of a player. Unfortunately, he just doesn't like football.
Oh yeah, then he's off the draft board entirely, I think.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, Nicky Chubb will be all right. I saw an awesome press conference with him last week. I think it was. He was just talking about everything going on, his health and whatever, and the coaching scheme and everything else. And man, he sounds the part. He looks the part. I mean, the Nick Chubb of old is probably behind us, unfortunately. But if we get, I could see us getting an RB2 at the end of the season if he can stay healthy through it. So we'll see what happens. But really, really messy situation overall outside of Nico Collins, in my opinion, for the Texans this year. Okay, that's bus number one, Joe Mixon. Jeff, kick it off for bus number two.
I'm going to keep with the running back trend and the never fields. I'm going to say Breece Hall, running back 14, pick 33 overall. I don't see him coming close to this. I went back in time and looked at Justin Fields' running backs. The best running back finished as RB19, and that was David Montgomery in 2021. So I just don't like a Justin Fields and a running back because Justin Fields is known for his running ability as a quarterback, not necessarily his passing. And then you add in the fact that head coach Aaron Glenn continues to mention that he has 3 really good running backs. And it leads me to believe that this could be some sort of a timeshare. And I just don't think it's the year for Breece Hall. I think his better seasons are past him at this point, just with the change of the scheme. Quarterback play is all different now. So with that, I'm definitely out on Breece Hall.
Oh, boy. Anybody else have thoughts on Breece Hall?
I'm still removing the ashes from myself on backing the Jets last year. So,
yikes.
Yeah, I kind of agree as well. I'm staying away from Breece Hall. I will take a chance on Braylon Allen later, though.
Exactly.
But yeah, at Breece Hall at his ADP, I'm steering away from him.
Well, yeah, with the Braylon Allen talk, Breece Hall's starting to slip slowly down the boards. For him, it's going to be volume, and it's going to be one of those where he may not have wonderful yak, he may not have yards after contact, yards after catch, both yaks, by the way, it's yak squared. Nice. But volume is king for running backs, which is why 19 reception Derrick Henry is still a late first round, early second round. He can't catch the football, but when he does, for those 19 catches, look out. He usually comes off the field at third down situations. But Breece Hall could bring some value, but it's all going to be based on volume. And it's possible that Justin Fields has more rushing yards than Breece Hall does when it's all said and done.
Yeah, last couple drafts I've done, Breece Hall, when it comes that time where Breece Hall is at the in my queue, he's also there with Kenneth Walker, James Cook, and Alvin Kamara. One or two of those guys, and I'd much rather have one of them than Breece Hall. So, yeah, I'd pivot off of him 9.9 times out of 10.
Yes, I agree. And for the second time in a row, I promise we don't share these pre-game, but I also went with Breece Hall for my bust. Running back 17 last year, and it was uglier than running back 17. He had a couple boom games, a couple at the end there that made it look nice and feel nice, but it was not very great. Justin Fields rushing, we know that. Jeff's touched on that. Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, who nobody knows, but he's one of those dudes on a team that the coaches love, which we hate in fantasy. I mean, respect to this guy. I hope that him and his family are healthy and stuff, but we hate these dudes. No, they're not useful for fantasy. They just cloud up the works, and then the dudes are actually playing get taken away from these other dudes who are great clubhouse guys and people who are in the mix, but not actually for fantasy. So Isaiah Davis is getting work. The one thing for Breece Hall that I do like, because I'm an offensive line weirdo, PFF has the Jets as the 9th ranked offensive line. I like that a lot. Anybody in the top 10 is a dominant offensive line. But overall, I just don't believe in the Jets until we can. And I just think Justin Fields, if he breaks out, I think it's going to hurt Breece Hall versus rise all tides, if you will. As Derek mentioned, Alvin Kamara, Amari and Hampton, who we talked last week about one of our bold predictions, Travion Henderson, who most of us already love, and even James Conner maybe, are going after Breece Hall in drafts. I'd take all 4 of them over Breece Hall. Maybe even take a look at James Cook as well. And not Kenneth Walker because I like Charbonnet, but he's in the mix as well if you believe in his health. So, unfortunately, Breece Hall is a bust for me as well.
Guy, would you rather draft R.J. Harvey or listen to P.J. Harvey?
PJ Harvey's nice, dude. I got a heavy trip hop mix a long time ago. I got some stuff for you.
Dave knows who P.J. Harvey is.
No disrespect for P.J. Harvey here. I love her.
Nice. Don't forget Portishead either.
Let England shake, baby.
Yeah, I dig it. Nice. Good drop, Matt. All right. Breece Hall, unfortunately, taking a double burn. Dave, that means you're up.
Okay, I'm going to go with the ultimate low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to pick a guy that's getting drafted at the top of his position as a potential bust. And that, for me, is Lamar Jackson. I'm seeing him drafted. I'm seeing him drafted at the top of drafts, and I get drafting Lamar Jackson top quarterback. He's the ultimate upside guy. So it's basically comes down to whether you like drafting upside early or if you like drafting somebody with a safe floor early. But Lamar actually he just had such a fantastic year last year. He had the thing that sticks out to me most is he had a 8.6 touchdown pass percentage rate against his attempts. He had 41 touchdowns last year on only under 480 attempts. It's insane how much it was. Now he had a similar touchdown percentage rate in his 2009, his first MVP year. He was at 9%. But other than 2020, the year after, where he had a just under 7% rate, he's mostly in the high 4s, mid 5s in his other years as far as touchdown percentage goes, as far as passing goes. So he had his most attempts, most completions, most yards, most touchdowns, and his fewest interceptions. It was a fantastic year for him, and you know, it's possible he does it again, but it's also possible the year after 2019 he was quarterback 10. The 2 years next year is he was quarterback 15 and quarterback 14. So there is some downside. I mean, again, he's probably got the highest ceiling of maybe any player in the league, but he's also got kind of a low floor. I mean, I remember taking him in 2020 early in a one quarterback league, which is usually what I do not do, and it kind of burned me a little bit, but that's neither here nor there here. So I think Lamar could fall as far as, you know, to the bottom of the top 5, or if he gets hurt, even lower. And he has been hurt in the past. So for me, Lamar Jackson is again, it's easy to say a guy that it can only go down will go down, but I think he has the possibility of going down further than people think.
Dave, give me the quarterbacks you're drafting before Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen, and depending on the scoring system, Joe Burrow. Other than that, probably not. I mean, I'm not saying I won't take the risk, and I'm not saying I don't think Lamar Jackson can repeat. I'm just saying, to me, he's probably the highest likely to bust, and I think bust enough where you regret drafting him quarterback 1.
Fair enough. I think it's all about ADP, right? I mean, if you're going to do that in like the second round, sure. But if you don't have to draft him till the 3rd or 4th, it might work out there anyway.
Yeah.
He had
in one quarterback. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to kind of reiterate what you said. He had career high in fantasy points by 23. He had career high in passing yards by 500. He had a career high in passing touchdowns by 5, the fewest interceptions since his rookie year when he only played like 9 real games when Joe Flacco was out of there. And he rushed for almost 1,000 yards, which is the 3rd time he's done that in his career as well. So you're right, Dave. He can most likely only go down. But in this offense with everything going on and the fact that everyone has to also scheme for Henry, if he stays healthy, I just don't see how he's not number 1 again.
Well, like I say, he's been number 1 twice. To me, Josh Allen has the safest floor. Josh Allen in the last 5 years, the lowest he's been is quarterback 2. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, it all depends on your philosophy. If you want to draft ceiling, you got to draft Lamar Jackson.
I like it. Well, Jaden Daniels is going to be the number 1 quarterback this year anyway, so I hear you, Dave. All right. Anyone else want to chime in?
You know, I'll just a quick note because I did draft Lamar Jackson in one league because I do love the upside, but I think Dave hit it on the head when he said if you're drafting 2024 Lamar Jackson, you're probably going to be disappointed. But that said, I mean, he's going to be a good fantasy quarterback, no question about it. So he stays healthy, but yeah, if you're drafting for a repeat of or even building on last year, yeah, I agree with Dave. I think you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, 100% for me that I've done, I don't know how many drafts now, but I've drafted, if I've had an opportunity to draft Lamar Jackson, I've drafted him. And I haven't drafted first in any draft. So, you know, if he gets to me in the pick in a super flex, if he gets to me at pick 3 or 4, then he's mine. You know, I'm not rooting against Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying he's probably the guy that has the possibility of falling farther than a lot of other players.
Fair enough. All right.
Let me write that down here real quick. Drafting at 3 or 4 in the super flex. Got it.
Yep. Take that falling.
Let me put it this way: he doesn't get that far too often. It all depends. No. There's a couple of leagues I'm in right now. I just started drafting this week. One league is so slanted towards the tight end 3 of the first 4 picks were Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and George Kittle. And a second league is slanted very much towards wide receivers. So I'm going nuts on wide receivers as everybody else goes after quarterbacks and running backs.
Play your league settings. I like it a lot. All right, let's get into it. Derek, what's your bust?
Yeah, I've got a couple names here, and I'm still flipping a coin right now as I'm getting ready to speak which one I'm gonna throw out. But I think I'm gonna settle on the quarterback, and just like Dave, it's not gonna be Lamar Jackson, though. It's gonna be that young quarterback in the Windy City. Caleb Williams is gonna be my bust this year.
Whoops. Hey.
Yeah, I mean he is going as quarterback 12 right now. Ahead of names like Purdy, Herbert, Drake May, CJ Stroud, Lawrence, McCarthy. McCarthy's going like 30 picks later than Caleb Williams.
Cam Ward?
Cam Ward is quite a bit after that as well. So yeah, the reason I mean the hype here, I mean it started last year in the draft, but even further this year. And we're not going to talk about that one.
Is it a Funko? Man.
A Funko Pop Packer.
Man.
Is that A-Ryan?
Matt is so hip. You know what I mean? He's the opposite of mid. He's just mad Riz for Matt. I like to see that.
Yeah.
Lots of drip.
Sorry, go
ahead, I almost went with Aaron Rodgers as my bust, but when you're at the quarterback 30 rank anyway, I mean that's pretty bad to be a bust there. But
yeah.
No, but the hype this year, with Ben Johnson in town, his first outing this last week, 107 yards and touchdown. It's just pumping up the helium on Caleb Williams already, but you go back and look at his trends. I mean, he was decent against bottom half defenses, versus the quarterback last year, but he was either average or bad against the top half defenses. So, I mean, he needs to show that he can play at a higher level. I mean, they gave him a good offensive line there. He's got receiving depth. You got a running game there. So there's nothing other than Caleb Williams himself for him to be a bust this year. And I don't think he's going to return the investment at all. I think he'll be fine, as a quarterback 2. If you want him as your quarterback 2 in a super flex, I'll take that chance maybe. But as a quarterback 1, I just don't see it. I don't think he's quarterback 12. In fact, my new rankings will have him even a little bit lower once they come out this week. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm calling Caleb Williams as my quarterback bust.
He has 2 major issues. The first, he still thinks he plays in the Pac-12 and wants to throw every ball deep. 1A to that is it's all here. It's between his ears. He thinks he has to be the college Heisman winner still. If he would just play football, let his instincts take over, he'd be all right. But he's a quarterback for the team in Chicago. That rarely happens. Not since Jay Cutler, by the way, the 4th best Green Bay Packers quarterback ever. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Green Bay Packers quarterbacks, Jay Cutler. Is that of what university, Derek? Vanderbilt. See how we connect all that? It all comes connected. Caleb Williams is not that guy, but he could be that guy. I'm with Derek.
Yeah, he could be Jay other way Cutler.
Nice. Broncos Jay Cutler was sick, though. All right. That's our bus going around the horn there. Let's get into our sleepers. One more call, last call for any listeners wanting to get into the PPR 12-team listener league with yours truly, the 5 of us plus our boy Ben down under in Australia, and some other listeners. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please mention in the comments right now that you're interested in it, and we will get a hold of you right away. Also, if you catch this after the fact on the podcast or on the YouTube side, feel free to make a comment into any one of our articles as well in the next couple of days. Let's see, today is the 19th. Let's give you till the 22nd to drop that in there because we do have drafts coming up this weekend, and we want to make sure everybody is ready to go. Those spots will fill fast. All right, gentlemen. I think this is probably the most fun, the most intriguing, the most
actually
exciting.
Real quick, is it too late to change my bust to Anthony Richardson?
Absolutely. But Anthony Richardson can't be a bust because he's not a starting quarterback. That's a rule I forgot.
He was 24 hours ago.
You know what's. I'll tell you right now what's going to happen with Anthony Richardson. He's going to have another bum year. They just won't give him a shot. Him and Daniel Jones are going to fake this shitty season for the Colts. They're going to release him, or they're going to trade him for nothing. He's going to go to an actual coach, and he's going to be awesome. I really believe that. I think he's actually talented. He's very young. He's still younger than 7 of the youngest quarterbacks in the league. Some of them are rookies.
He just turned 23.
Exactly. And he's coming into his 3rd year. These guys are rookies, and he's still younger than them. Just raw talent, as we know, but I think that could work out if he gets the right coach. So much of this stuff with these younger players is who you find as a coaching tree and stuff. So I'm obviously he's not much for us right now, but if he's for free in dynasty leagues, I'd throw him on your bench just in case. I like Anthony Richardson.
What you're saying then, Sky, is he's Baker Mayfield in 2 years from now.
Yeah, he's probably better than Baker Mayfield. For sure.
In 2 years from now. Maybe 3.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones?
Yikes. Aaron Rodgers.
Daniel Jones.
Good grief. Aaron Rodgers was nice at the end of the year last year, but we won't talk about him. Shout out to the Cal Bears. All right, let's get into our sleepers here, and we'll run it out. Once again, our sleepers are round 8 or later. Round 8 or later. And they are going to, make a squad at minimum, be a starter, hopefully, in our fantasy league, or come out of nowhere. 2017 Alvin Kamara, prime example. Way, way, way down. He was on waiver wires. Got picked up. Boom. Won people leagues. Hopefully, we can find a diamond in the rough like that. But in general, he's the 8th round or later. Matt, I'll let you go first. Who's your sleeper?
So I've got 4 names written down, and I looked I went down the ADP from Fantasy Pros, and I started plucking off names. Right now, being drafted at 107 overall is Emeka Egbuka, right? So but he's got so much helium, he can't be a sleeper, so I crossed him off. Then I saw at 118 Tucker Kraft. That's a homer pick. I crossed him off. Then I went to 144, and I remember how cool Jefferson is. And his boy Sunshine is at 144, which I think is probably borderline offensive to Jeff. Mm-hmm. And then I settled on being kind of cool with Jeff because of who his breakout was. Right now, Bryce Young is being drafted 13 1/4 rounds in at pick 159 with 3 solid receivers, a decent running game, a decent offensive line. But if you look at what this kid did, number 1 pick, he failed miserably, fell right on his face. Year 1 with Dave Canales sat him down. By the way, who brought Baker Mayfield to the promised land? Dave Canales. He fell on his face. Canales had whatever discussion he had with him after Dalton looked milquetoast. And he said, we're going to give you another shot at the end. Show me what you can do. And Bryce Young, regardless of what weeks it was at the end, he balled out. And I think that, and Derek and I have had this talk. We've talked about in our home league, are we going to press quarterback up? Or are we going to push quarterback down? I was thinking maybe this is the time that we finally take a top quarterback. And when I did this little bit of research, I think if you can have 12 stud players on your roster to include tight ends, running backs, and receivers, you can survive in round 13 with just snatching up Bryce Young. And then you take a veteran quarterback after him. If Stafford's back is all right, you pair him with a guy like Stafford. But Bryce Young is right now significantly underappreciated. And if that pick's not good enough, I will say go out there and find the guy named Kyle Williams that's going to be catching passes from Drake May. But for me, Bryce Young, 159, 13.25 draft slots in. 13 rounds and a quarter. So
Love
I like
it.
Bryce Young to outperform that.
I really like the Bryce Young pick, Matt. And last week we did an NFL bowl prediction on top of our fantasies. And I went with the Falcons. We had a lot of Falcons love last week, but I almost went with the Panthers. I just didn't think they're going to win the division, so I didn't pick that for them. But I really like them to turn it around. And Bryce Young was real nice down the stretch. And obviously, Jeff believes in Ted McMillan as well. So I like it a lot, man. That's a good call. And he's talk about sleepers and super flex leagues. Bryce Young is a real nice quarterback that nobody's really thinking about right now to pad your stats. That's a great sleeper. All right, Jeff, who you got, my man?
Yeah, so I chose a quarterback. I think Styles kind of stole my thunder with Bryce Young, but I love the pick, though. My selection is going to be C.J. Stroud. He's currently quarterback 18, so this can apply to Superflex and even 12-man leagues. I think that people are too low on C.J. Stroud. I know as a Jags fan, it pains me to even mention him as being a sleeper, but his ADP was quarterback 5 just a season ago. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. In that season, he had 6 games over 20 points. Last year, he only had 1. So it was a bit of a letdown last year. I think last year will probably be his worst season maybe in the NFL. It can only go up considering how bad it was. I like what the Texans did. They brought in Christian Kirk, Jags, slot extraordinaire. His first season with Trevor, he helped him produce a quarterback 8 finish. So I think he gives him a nice slot receiver. You still have Nico Collins, who many have as a top 5 receiver. Mr. Styles has him as receiver 6. They added 2 rookies, second round and a third rounder. So they're trying to bolster his receiving options. And in the AFC, it's going to be a team that scores the most points. You're going against the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals. So you got to score points. So the Texans front office thought they had to do that to help C.J. Stroud, under his nice rookie deal. Don't have to pay him too much still. So add these playmakers around him. I know the running game is a question mark. I do think Woody Marks is probably going to be the best running back of the group, which means they're going to have to heavily rely on C.J. Stroud. So, I just think he has a way better season. He's going to be a steal for what his draft is as the quarterback 18. I do like his strength of schedule. It's the 12th best of quarterbacks, and looking a little closer into his schedule, 12 out of the 17 games are going to be indoors this season.
Like that.
I do like a quarterback who's throwing indoors as opposed to a quarterback throwing outdoors more. So I love Styles' pick. Mine isn't as sexy, but I do think C.J. Stroud will be at least a top 10 quarterback this year.
I dig it. I'm a little nervous because I'm just not sure what the Texans are going to do, as I said earlier, but we saw him do it as a rookie.
Yeah, it's criminal in some of these drafts when all quarterbacks are being depleted and you still see C.J. Stroud still available. It's criminal.
Yeah, after one bad season, it's interesting. After one bad year, everyone just writes him off. It's so. Hopefully he doesn't go down the Trevor Lawrence path because he hasn't really been fantasy relevant, unfortunately. So hopefully, but I do think he'll be better.
It's a good example of how the industry tends to overcorrect. We tended to go overboard on him last year, and this year since we're punishing him for not living up.
Yep. Well, and he lost his boy. I mean, it's really tough to have injuries to your squad. Like, obviously, quarterbacks can't do anything about that. Some of them are able to overcome it or not.
Dell went down, Diggs went down. They had a lot of injuries on that team last year.
And we were bashing Mixon a little bit earlier, and I'm down for that. Last year, he stayed very effective still. So The run game was fine. I mean, he wasn't crazy efficient, but he was effective, a la Josh Jacobs, and he was just fine. Bryce Young, playoff schedule at the Aints, Bucks at home, and then the Seahawks at home as well. I like that a lot. And we just had Stroud up there as well. Carolina at home, Raiders at home. and the Chargers on the road, but that's been kind of a sieve for past defenses. So both those guys could be real nice if you're either drafting them now or you're able to pick them up later on. We will have more talk about fantasy schedules coming up. Some believe in it, some don't believe in it. I happen to believe in it. The first 4 weeks of the season, I do care about. Fantasy playoffs, I do care about. Otherwise, I think it's kind of a wash. Dave, you're up. Who's your sleeper?
Okay, my sleeper is a guy that also is just getting completely overcorrected, and I'm not exactly sure what the expectations were for him last year. I will go with Matt's favorite team, and I'm going to select as my sleeper Jaden Reed. Last year, he was wide receiver 29 in PPR, and the year before, he was wide receiver 25 in PPR. Points per game is a little bit different story, but you got to be out there to get points. So he was 42nd in points per game, but still. Last year, he was ranked wide receiver 36 going into drafts by Rotoballer and wide receiver 38 by Tristan Cockcroft on ESPN. I didn't keep records on draft rankings last year, and I couldn't find a lot. But those two kind of stuck out. I can't imagine there was a lot of difference on other sites. He is actually wide receiver 42 this year on Football Guys and wide receiver 48 on Fantasy Pros. To me, this is a guy that actually, I know he's hurt right now. This could come back and bite me. And he doesn't get a lot of touches, but he's incredibly efficient with them. And if they do give him the ball, he manages to do good things with a lot of it.
Davey? Sir? Nope. Okay. Everybody else there? Yep. That's right, Cruzy. If you catch us, man, just come on back. Jaden Reed, let's go to the Packers homer real quick for quick analysis of the Packers wide receiver core. Dontavian Wicks, I gave a shout out to last week. Matt shot it down immediately. Matt, how's the wide receiver core looking in Green Bay?
I like the players, but I will tell you that if you watched any of the preseason game against the Jets, and it's preseason, they looked awful. I think it was 4 drops on 7 targets for Jordan Love, and they were drops. They were not contested. They were just flat out drops. 2 of them to Wicks, not surprising. And there's a lot of mouths to feed in Green Bay, right? Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs when healthy, Christian Watson probably at midseason, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave is healthy, Josh Jacobs out of the backfield, who you love. There's a lot of mouths to feed, and it's the first time I've said it in public or even out loud. I'm not sure Jordan Love is the guy. He just has not. With that amount of weaponry and the fact that they trailed in a lot of games, it will. And maybe say this: Josh Jacobs was absolutely insane last year. So maybe they didn't throw enough, and maybe I have recency bias because I didn't see enough passing from him. But I don't feel it. I don't know that he commands the offense, but I'm clearly not in the huddle or in the room with them. I do not believe I roster Jordan Love once, and I'm not upset by it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Packers fans, buckle up once again. That's the toughest division of football, arguably. If the Bears actually have a pulse these days, we will see what happens in that division. It'll be interesting. Okay, Derek, we're going to go to you. Who's your sleeper?
Yeah, so I'm going to stay with the wide receiver position as well. This is a third-year wide receiver who's the clear number 2 on his team. He's being drafted way down in the 14th round, picked at as wide receiver number 62. So I could tell you last year he had 20% or more targets in almost half the games he played, for his team. I could tell you 4 games when he had a gunslinging quarterback, he averaged over 18 PPR points per game. I could give you some more stats, but I don't need to, because the only thing I need to do to reveal my sleeper is discuss the quarterback. Cedric Tillman is my sleeper this year, especially now that Joe Flacco has been named the starter for the Cleveland Browns. Now that we've got a gunslinging quarterback, Cedric Tillman should have a monster September. He's going to be my sleeper, at least for the first month of the season while Joe Flacco's at quarterback. Love Cedric Tillman this year. He's coming ultra cheap again at wide receiver 62 in the 14th round. May want to grab him in the 13th round. Sky, if you don't take him by the 13th round this weekend, you might not get him.
Okay. I got him in the 12th, so be careful.
There you go. No, Cedric Tillman, now there's a little bit of excitement now with the Browns, and I think Cedric Tillman is one that's going to be the beneficiary there.
Wow, I like it a lot.
Yeah, Jamie, I love it. Love it, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie's the Browns homie too. Cedric Tillman's awesome. Last year he came in hot. It was great, and we want to see it. And look, say what you want about Joe Flacco. He's a lot of fun for fantasy football, and he's kind of the poor man's Jameis Winston at this point. And why not have a Bob LaMarco pick on the panel for sleepers? You know what I'm saying? So I like it a lot. And I like what you said, Derek. He's going to have a great September. I love that. The first 4 weeks are going to be super fun, and then we'll see what happens. Davey Cruz is back with us. You want to finish up your point there, my man?
I really can't read right now. I just came in to apologize. The power went out here, so
oh my goodness,
I'm kind of in the dark. Yeah,
literally in the dark. No worries.
Yeah, and I even paid my bills. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm using my cell plan. It's not working too well, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop off.
You got it, buddy. Be safe, man. Thank you.
Right. Yep. Thanks.
See you, Dave.
Now that right there might be fake news. We'll see if Treylon Burks ever gets to play again. But as of right now, that's probably legit. I'll get into my sleeper and we'll run it out, gentlemen. My sleeper here is the new hotness, and he's not going to be a sleeper for much longer. So I'm just jumping on the bandwagon before it's cooler than it already is. My boy Jakari Krosky Merritt, aka Bill. He only goes by a first name. He prefers to go by Bill, which is incredibly interesting. Running back for the Washington football team. This one's crazy. Super fun. I'm a Brock Purdy guy, obviously, as a Niner fan. So I'm rooting for the 7th rounders who never make it in the NFL. But this kid's a 7th round pick, a running back right now for Washington. He was PFF's 4th highest running back in college at New Mexico in 2023. So at a small school, he's a small running back. He looks like a younger Austin Eckler, which is awesome that they're both in the backfield. I like that a lot. Can catch passes. Brian Robinson is like very openly out there for trading. So they're probably going to be moving him one way or another pretty soon. Eckler moves up, and then you have Bill coming up as well. Scored a 27-yard touchdown scamper against the Bungles, and then he had 3 other impressive shifty runs as well. I just like this kid. I like dudes with burst. I like players that get the opportunity and run with it, pun intended. And I'm really stoked on him. And again, there's a lot of hype right now with this kid, and rightfully so. But I do believe that it'll come through for him. So right now, a sleeper in let's see, where do I have him? Right now he's RB 56 in the 13th round. That's going to change overnight, I'm sure. But even outside of the top 10 rounds, he's a high level handcuff at minimum. And who knows what we're going to get out of Austin Eckler. But this kid might at least get, 30% of the snaps early. And then if anything happens, he might get more work. So He's just an awesome, fun spark plug I'm putting at the end of my benches right now. Don't forget the name Bill Krosky Merritt, a.k.a. Jakari Krosky Merritt, when you're looking him up in the systems. Anybody else hyped on my boy Bill?
I like Bill. I wrote about him in my dynasty.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Nice.
I almost also chose Taj Brooks, who played last night against him. I'm curious how Chase Brown is going to hold up over the length of the season, and Taj might get some carries there, actually.
I like it. Jeff, appreciate it. I was going to go back around the panel real quick here. If you guys have an extra name or two that maybe you didn't write up for this exercise, but when you research, you were naming a couple. We've named a few alternates as we went, but Matt, I'll start with you. Do you have another name or two that would be a breakout, sleeper, or bust?
Breakouts, I had 3 receivers. I've talked about Roma Dunze to ad nauseum. The other one I had is Jacoby Myers, who's currently 88 off the board. And I think he is probably going to outperform that. And then I mentioned a bust, Cooper Kupp, Eastern Washington University. I don't really want him to be a bust, but he's coming off the board 1 pick before Jacoby Myers, and I'm not sure that's a good move. That's probably all name value. That's all that is right now. Jeff, you got any extra names since Sky is in the ether with Dave?
Yeah, like I mentioned, Taj. I do like him. Another one is speaking of the Bears, Kyle Monogany. The RB2 spot is always nice in Ben Johnson, and I'm not sure he really likes DeAndre Swift because he helped trade him out of Detroit when he was there. So possible that he gets some carries and some TDs. If Caleb Williams can't throw touchdowns, they're going to run him in.
Sorry, guys, the power went out. Derek, anybody?
Yeah. So my other bust that I was considering, of course, Justin Fields. I've told you guys before. I just don't see what other industry folks are seeing with him. I just don't see it there, and I need to. I don't believe in the Jets either until I see it. I don't believe in it. But the other name I was really struggling with, and I don't think he's a bust per se, but our criteria was fail to reach ADP. Well, this is a second round running back, Jonathan Taylor. It's less about fear of the player, it's more the situation. I'm a little more optimistic now with Daniel Jones at quarterback than I was with Anthony Richardson, but still, they got a pretty good line.
Daniel Jones. But yeah, I mean, there's just not much in that Indianapolis offense that's going to prevent defenses from really focusing on Taylor. And so it's going to be really hard for him, I think, to refine all that running room. Again, I'm a little more optimistic with Dimes at quarterback than I was the other way, but I just don't think he's gonna. I think we're looking at maybe a 4th round fantasy running back, not a second rounder. So a little down on him. And as far as sleepers go, I had a ton of sleepers. Evan Ingram, who's going in the 9th round. I love Evan Ingram this year. Christian Kirk, we talked about the Texans a little bit. He's going in the 11th round. Tank Bigsby, man, if he gets even close to half the carries there, he's well over his 12th round value there. And then Demario Douglas as well, with the Patriots in the 14th round. Those are some other players I like. I love that. I don't know that he can't break out because he already did it. He's definitely not a sleeper per se. But Deebo Samuel, I think, was kind of written off when he went to Washington. And he played very minimally the other night, but he looks healthy right now. He's obviously an animal with the ball in his hands. And Terry McLaurin's not doing anything right now. So keep an eye on Deebo, who, I mean, really, if he's any amount of previous Deebo Samuel, who's at least a wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 2, you're getting him in the middle rounds right now at best. I mean, he might go in like the 7th, 8th round. So I don't know what category he would fit into, but don't forget about Deebo Samuel. And then just a random dart throw, really. Rashid Shaheed, and in New Orleans. Shuck looks good. Shuck actually played at Oregon for a season. He wasn't much for us while he transferred out. There wasn't really room for him, but he played okay here. So I got to watch him a little bit in college. And he actually looked decent in the Saints preseason game. He's definitely airing the ball out. And again, I mean, we don't know what we're going to get out of Chris Olave, who I'm hoping bounces back in a big way, but we just don't know. So Rashid Shaheed is free, basically, and he's a sleeper and a breakout, and he's costing you nothing. So he's Jameson Williams, right? I mean, he's going to have some 25-point games. He's going to have a couple zeros, I'm sure. But definitely in best ball and potentially in some deeper just bye-week fillers, Rashid Shaheed would be a name I'd throw out there as well. All right, gentlemen, any final comments before we get out of here? We're at the hour mark. Again, I want to welcome everybody if you're tuning in late, or thank you for sticking around with us. Another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. My name is Sky. We got Matt, Jeff, and Derek as well. Davey had to kid out a little bit earlier. We have a quick quiz. Where is MBS playing football today? The question is he playing football today? And if so, where? I'm going to bounce back at you, Matt. Is he playing in the NFL? Okay. I have no idea. I'm going to go with, I would say Kansas City, but I feel like he already did that run. No.
Seattle?
Oh, get out of here. The Seattle poll? Are you joking? Man, wow. Nice job. Shout out to the Mariners. Wow, MBS, nice. Another player that, hey, he'll throw up a couple 202s for you, and also a few goose eggs. Love to see that. Nobody mentioned Darren Waller. Is there?
Yeah.
No.
And that's the end of that talk.
Was that on purpose? Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, gentlemen, we're going to go back around the horn. Give us anything you'd like here with your final 15 seconds of fame before we get out of here. Matt, you're on the clock.
I've got nothing to add. I am spent, as they say.
Love it. Jeff?
I'm good as well. I will say Devontae Adams will also be a bust.
Whoa. Wow. You're just going to – I have nothing to say. Probably semicolon, I think, right there, right? That's a big semicolon. And then drops a bomb after Matt proclaimed that he was done.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to kick it back to Matt. Are you actually done talking for the night?
Just remember that Puka Nacua gave his jersey number back to Devontae Adams out of respect, which Jeff should learn some.
I agree. That's a good clubhouse move from Puka. Not so much from Jeff. That was kind of a low blow late in the program. Matt's kind of like, loosen up his defense a little bit there, loosening the tie. Boom, Jeff comes just haymaker right at the end there. That was rough.
I rope-a-doped and I looked in the crowd and it was too late by the time Jeff was already swinging from his heels.
Jeez. I guess you got to play to the buzzer, Matt. That's all it is. Play to the whistle.
I mean, he couldn't go after a bear. Oh, DJ Moore, he sucks. He's going to be a bust. Nope, you got to go after the Hall of Famer from Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
Sterling Kirk was
I like Devontae, just not this season.
Yeah,
that receiver 15.
Shout out Fresno State. All right, Derek, you got anything for us?
Yeah. So there's a reason why Jeff's handle is __ because he likes to, stay roll low and then come up swinging. So that makes a lot of sense. No, well, for me, I just want to make sure we've got Jamie in one of our leagues. I think we do, right? I mean, we've got him on board. I think he's in the Guillotine League, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to make sure we get Jamie in. He's one of our most favorite.
Jamie, confirm for us. Let's find him here.
Yeah, I believe he's
big game James, I believe, and that's in the Guillotine League.
Nice. All right, looking forward to that draft with Jamie.
Yeah. And
awesome.
Jamie, remember, just don't be last. That's the rules. Okay, cool. Well, I'll run us out here, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Want to give a shout out to my good friends of Savannah Bananas and everybody else enjoying a wonderful night of baseball. Before the football comes around the corner, let's enjoy it. We got another couple weeks here. We got Razzball leagues coming up and drafts ready to go in the next weekend. So stay tuned. If you are in our listener league for the PPR or you're in the listener league for the Guillotine League, we'll be having announcements in the chats of the Sleeper League home league chat room. So please make sure you have that. Everybody's been paid up and things too, which has gone really well. So we appreciate that. And for Matt and for Jeff and for Derek and for Dave and the safety of generators, my name is Sky, and we will catch you on the next Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Derek, run us out.